Hi boys and girls, Mrs. Becker again. Yesterday I read you the story of the true story of the three little pigs and the big bad wolf. Today I have another twist on that story. It is called The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. It is by Eugene Trivizas and Helen Oxenbury. And then there's gonna be lots of animals in our book. It's not a farm book, it's just a for fun book. Once upon a time, there were three cuddly little wolves with soft fur and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day their mother called the three little wolves around her and said, "My children, it's time for you to go out into the world. Go and build a house for yourselves. But beware of the big bad pig." "Don't worry, Mother. We'll watch out for him," said the three little wolves, and off they set. Soon they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the three little wolves. "Certainly," said the kangaroo, and she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of bricks. I know some of you like kangaroos. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of bricks that the little wolves had built. The three little wolves were playing croquet in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside the house and locked the door. If you don't know what croquet is, it's this game you see in Alice in Wonderland, where they hit a ball through these little loops right here. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." No, said the three little wolves. "By the hair of our chinny chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. So they're in there hiding, he's puffing and puffing. Because remember, it's made of brick. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer and he knocked the house down. The three little wolves only managed to escape just before the bricks crumbled, and they were very frightened indeed. See his sledgehammer? He must be very strong. "Well, we shall have to build a stronger house," they said. Just then they saw a beaver who was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer. "Please, will you give us some of your concrete?" asked the three little wolves. "Certainly," said the beaver, and he gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. So it's poured into these molds here to build the walls. No sooner had they finished than the big bad wolf, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. They were playing battledore and shuttlecock in the garden. I call this badminton. See, they're playing that game. The thing with the birdie that you hit over the net with a hand net, with a racket. The pig rang the doorbell and said, "Little frightened wolves, let me come in." No, said the three little wolves. "By the hair of our chinny chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house wouldn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and he fetched his pneumatic drill and smashed the house down. That's a pneumatic drill. Pneumatic means air, so it's air that makes it work. The three little wolves managed to escape, but their chinny chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. "We shall build an even stronger house," they said, because they were very determined. Just then they saw a truck coming down the road carrying barbed wire iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. There's the truck. Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars and armor plates, and some heavy metal padlocks? They said to the rhinoceros who was driving the truck. Sure, said the rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. He also gave them some plexiglass. That's kind of that plastic that looks like glass. You'll see it in aquariums. And some reinforced steel chains because he was a generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. I also think it's because the wolves always said please every time that they got what they asked for. Please. So the three little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house. It was the strongest, securest house one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling along the road as usual. The three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house, bolted the door, and locked all 37, that's 3 10s and 7 1s, padlocks, 37 padlocks. The pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins, let me come in." Look, there he is climbing over. They're all frightened inside. "No, no, no," said the wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He brought some dynamite, laid it against the house, and lit a fuse. See the dynamite down there? The house blew up. Explosion time. But look over here. Look over here. Right here in the corner. What do we see? The three little wolves just managed to escape with their fluffy tails scorched. Scorched means the hair got burnt just a little. "Something must be wrong with our building materials," they said. "We have to try something different." But what? At that moment, they saw a flamingo coming along, pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. Flamingo, flowers. "Please, will you give us some flowers?" asked the little wolves. "With pleasure," said the flamingo, and he gave them lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of, you weren't expecting this, flowers. One wall was of marigolds, one of daffodils, one of pink roses, and one of cherry blossoms. The ceiling was made of one of my favorite flowers, sunflowers, and the floor was a carpet of daisies. They had water lilies in their bathtub and buttercups in their refrigerator. It was a rather fragile, that means it's breakable, fragile house, and it swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. Next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw that house of flowers the three little wolves had built. Here's a picture of one of the wolves in their bathtub. He rang the blue bell at the door and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorched tail, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair in our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." But as he took that deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of the flowers. Here's him smelling. It was fantastic. And because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath and another. Instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then, he decided to become a big, good pig. And he started to sing and to dance the tarantella. Look at that, the flowers changed him. At first, the three little wolves were a bit worried it might be a trick, but soon they realized that the pig had truly changed, and so they came running out of the house. They started playing games with him. First they played Pig Pog, and then Piggy in the Middle, and when they were all tired, they invited him into the house. I have no idea what those names are. Pig Pog. Piggy in the Middle, that might just be person in the middle where you try like playing keep away, maybe. That's what it looks like to me. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pig accepted, and they all lived happily together ever after. Can you retell that story to someone in your house today? Maybe a brother or a sister, or you could write it down for me and retell it. What do you think? You know, we talk about in class how sometimes a person can change, and you know, maybe they were a grumpy kid last year and now they are a happy kid and they're learning to get along with others. Maybe you would like to change something about yourself. Do you think that's possible? The pig in our story today did. I think it is possible. All right, boys and girls, I'll be back tomorrow with another book. Thank you. Goodbye.